This is the law of buy-in, part of the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. My name is Sam Nynan. This principle says that people buy into the leader, then into the vision. They don't first follow worthy causes, they follow worthy leaders who promote worthwhile causes. Maxwell gives the example of one of the greatest leaders of the 20th century, Mahatma Gandhi, who, after finishing his education in law, traveled back to India and then South Africa, and he was a political activist there. And he developed a reputation for fighting for the minorities and the oppressed and the discriminated against South Africa's apartheid government. That years of experience led to his getting the buy-in with the people of India when he returned back to Delhi. For 6 years plus, he fought with them. He led marches and protests, but all with civil disobedience. And throughout, he changed the approach from violence to nonviolence. So the people found in him a leader, and then they espoused the dream that he had for independence. And so that often quoted word that is attributed to him, be the change that you want to see in the world. He was the epitome of that change, and he led that change to an independent India. The time we live in today, we see that celebrity endorsements and those who promote the product are more important even than the product. And that's kind of what the buy-in is, that the message is important, but the messenger is even more important. And it's often increased sales. For example, Michael Jordan endorsing Nike, sales go up. Products like Subway, uh, Michael Phelps, Peyton Manning, even political endorsements like for the NRA, Charlton Heston. These all have great impact, good and bad. Some of these, Gerald Fogel with Subway, he didn't exactly turn out as expected, and some of these will change. But the endorsement, the person behind it, often drives the sales and the message, and that's the buy-in part of it that he talks about. Maxwell gives the example of the software entrepreneur Judy Estrin and the company that she founded. She was a key person in development of the internet, and gives the example of how she tried to find companies, and her first attempt was very hard because nobody really knew her. She didn't have a track record, and once she had established something, once that was a viable idea and it took off, then the next time she hardly had to sell it because they knew her, people knew her. As soon as her name was mentioned, she got plenty of financing and venture capital for the next endeavor. So people buy into her and then the innovation, the product. And we see this not just in industry and business, in all realms. He illustrates 4 ways that people react to leaders and the visions under different circumstances. They either don't buy in or they buy in 4 different scenarios. They either get another leader, get another vision, or get behind the leader. When people don't like the leader but they like the vision, they look for another leader. This is illustrated in sports and football, especially. The coaches are constantly changing, getting fired. They don't come in and fire all the players or all the other staff. They fire the main guy because they don't like the leader, but they like the vision. Their vision is to get to the championship game, the Super Bowl. That's the goal. That doesn't change, but the coach changes. And some of these coaches that have been fired, let go, they've moved on. The teams have improved, changed, and they also result in getting another coach, another leader. When they like the leader but don't like the vision, they change the vision. This example of Tony Blair in Great Britain, who was the prime minister and a popular leader, served 3 times, was elected and was very popular for a while until the Iraq War. He got behind that. People didn't like that, and they wanted a change. They wanted the vision changed. Even though he was popular, they went along with it. The vision he had was not popular. And when they do like the leader and they like the vision, they get behind both. And the best example of this is John F. Kennedy and the space program challenging the race for space and getting a man on the moon. People liked him and they liked the vision. They got behind it, got on the moon, and it was done in record time. A great example of buy in. So there's a timeline with getting the buy in, and it begins with evaluating each situation for what it is, looking at all the aspects of it, then building key relationships to get to the goal, the vision, and communicating often that vision with key individuals, and then finally get the buy-in. It could take time. It could take years. It could take more than expected time, but there's always a time limit. There's a timeline that's needed to get the buy-in. As a faith integration, we see a great example of this in the Bible with Nehemiah, who built the wall in record time, but he had the buy-in, and he got that over a time. And Nehemiah 2:18 shows how God was favorable to him and the king, and the people got behind him through much prayer and effort and getting the buy-in from people, taking the time. They put their hands to the work and built the wall, and a great legacy of leadership, a great example of leadership found in the scriptures, and a timeless example of getting the buy-in. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for listening.